Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be making a video on a topic a lot of you guys have questions about, which is how to have good chat. So to start, we should talk about what the goal is. The goal, it is to have good chat, but you want to have a more specific goal than just this. So a better goal is to sound the same as both liberal and fascist. And if you do this, you'll also do this. So this is just a way better goal for you. So anyways, now that we have that established, let's move on to slide 2. So slide 2 is basically stating that no two liberals sound the same. Don't be a cookie cutter liberal. So what this means is basically just chat yourself, but be yourself when you're talking, but try to make the way you sound as liberal and fascist the same. A lot of people, when they're new, fall into this trap that there's this standard generic liberal chatting style that if they try to match it, they'll get better and better the more they try and do so. That's just not true. It's actually pretty cringe. So doing shit like cheering whenever a blue is played, yay, yay, oh my god, I'm so happy. That's no. It probably won't hurt you that much, but it's just annoying and it won't get you anywhere. And the standard green argument, so when green players get conflicted early on and they spend a minute just arguing with their conflict, you're a fascist. No, you're a fascist. Don't talk to your conflict about gameplay related shit in general. I was able to find this example just by going through random greens games, and I think this is just a perfect example of, well, a pointless argument. You lie. To be real. I choiced he picked wrong. It was RRB he dropped blue. Why do you have this conversation for 1941-42? A minute and a half just spent. He comped me. No, he comped me. It's all this standard argument stuff. It probably doesn't hurt that much, but I don't know, it could come off as desperate, and it's also just totally pointless and annoying, and it'll get you nowhere. And it's also just kind of the wrong idea, right? Your goal is to make your style of chats sound the same between both roles, not to find some liberal average chat and try and match that, because there just isn't one. And you're not gonna stand out and get picked if you just sound what someone trying to impersonate an average liberal sounds like. So anyways, the best way to reach your goal, and what was the goal again? We can go back to slide 1, to sound the same as both liberal and fascist. That's the goal. So what's the best way to reach your goal? Whenever you're a liberal and a high yellow player reads your chat liberal, ask them why. So if you're liberal and you get comped and you get picked by another liberal, they'd probably say why they picked you. And if it's because of your chat, then ask them when particularly made them like your chat. And once you do that, right? You're then gonna be able to say, well, I thought you were liberal because you seemed really scared that a fascist might be a seed. And I think fear, you know what I mean? And now you'd be like, okay, so when I act afraid, that player reads me liberal. So next game that they're a seed and you're fascist, what you can do is you can pretend to be afraid that a fascist is getting a seed or something. So that's step 2. As soon as they tell you what lines of chat they use to read you liberal, your next goal should be to immediately repeat those lines of chat in games that you're a fascist in as well. So basically, when you're fascist, you're trying to almost impersonate yourself as liberal and trying to match that as much as you can. You almost want to get yourself to a mind state where you believe you're liberal. It's almost like method acting in a way where sometimes people do it so much to the point where they play the final blue as a fascist and they're like, oh my god, wait, I'm not liberal, but you just, whenever someone says, this line of chat made you look liberal, your immediate goal should be to start implementing that into your fascist chat as well. So And it usually won't be a line of chat, it'll usually be a few lines of chat. And this can be commonly paired with, like, say, stalling, caps locking, being mad, being scared. Showing those emotions can be read as liberal outs. And you're going to want to do them as both roles, because you'll find yourself getting a bunch of fascist wins, right? Because if a player libs you for acting scared in one game when you were liberal, they'll probably lib you if you act scared when you're Hitler and they're liberal, right? So, yeah. And, like, common tells for, like, new players, like, that get them, like, outed is being, like, extremely afraid as liberal in one game during, like, the SC phase, special election, and then being super confident as fascist in the next. For example, if you take, like, 3 minutes to decide who you want to special elect in one game, and you, like, flip-flop back and forth and seem super nervous, and then instantly make an SC on your co-fascist in the next game, like, that's just such a shift from, like, one playstyle to another. Like, you shouldn't, like, have, like, a personality switch between games. That'll get you scum red or red fascist so fast. And it's worth noting that, like, in order to, like, there's actually kind of a step zero here, in that before, like, people can read your chat liberal, you have to actually talk. And you're going to want to talk a lot when you're liberal and when you're fascist. And the reason being is that, well, talking a lot, it really can't hurt. Sure, you might say something wrong at some point, but, like, if you say, like, when you're green, if you say one, like, bad thing, or even, like, 5 bad things, you can oftentimes offset that by saying, like, one really good thing, or a bunch of good things at once. Like, you know what I mean? People will be more forgiving. It's just better to talk a lot, because you kind of dictate the narrative, you gain control. So you're going to want to talk a lot, almost flood the chat. That's kind of optimal strategy, but, like, just speaking and being vocal is very, very important, as all roles. And the more you talk, the better you'll get at it, because you'll have more opportunities for people to read your lines, fascist or liberal. And, like, the opposite of these directions is also true. So if someone reads your chat fascist, then you can either, like, not do that line of chat next game, or if it's a line of chat that, like, you won't stop doing for whatever reason, maybe it's just like a tell or something that you do, like, subconsciously, start doing it as liberal a few games. And eventually, like, maybe you'll get fast one game and lose for it, but eventually you'll send the message that, hey, I do this as both roles, you can't just keep reading me for free because of this. So, like, especially, and, like, I don't know, it's like, if a liberal keeps fashioning you for one thing, and they get, like, conflicted early on and are not in a position of power, you can, like, just drop that line of chat that they normally fast you for when you're liberal, and then all of a sudden, hey, doesn't work anymore. And now, this is an important part to having good chat, and it's don't be a lib-outer. So, for instance, right, the most common way that people out-liberal and get picked, or look liberal and get picked, is by caps locking, swearing, attacking other people, pretending to be mad, because the standard opinion on this site is that only liberals get mad. Stalling is another one. Like, so basically, there's 2 ways you can be. You can either be toxic as both roles, where you caps lock, you stall, you get emotional, you get angry, and this will probably help your win rate, because when you caps lock and stall, it's a really easy way to type a lot of chat at once. You can kind of drown out your competition, and you look liberal for it. Versus non-toxic as both roles, which is, well, you know, you kind of take a win rate hit by not being, like, an asshole, but maybe you feel better about yourself. Maybe you make the site a slightly less awful place. This will get you more wins, don't get me wrong. This is the way to go. I've won so many games by caps locking and swearing, especially in tournament. So, like, stalling, swearing, caps lock, insulting, it works. You know, whether people want to acknowledge that reality, Whether they like it or not, it does work. Objectively true. Objectively true. This is better. But this is also okay. Okay? If you want to be non-toxic because you think that, you know, your morals or values against, like, swearing or, like, insulting people are more important than winning all the time, you can totally do that and still be successful. Bubbles hit 2K, and she was always nice. But there's this middle period that you never want to be. In between the two base people, there's cringe. And these people are only toxic as liberal, and this is actually a very common belief on the site. That people can only caps lock and get mad when they're liberal. That people can only stall when they're liberal. But I want you to think about that. People think that, like, it's bad manners to get toxic as fascist but not as liberal. This is actually a very common opinion. But let's just think about this for a second. If you want to live in a world where people can only caps lock and get mad when they're liberal, then get this. You're basically allowing someone to immediately, like, ruin the game and out their role whenever they feel like it just by hitting one key, the caps lock key, and saying, like, fuck you or something. Right? Because, like, no one player should be able to out their role 100% of the time just by hitting a key. Like, it's almost like, it's borderline, like, it's game ruining. Like, it could easily be, like, even against the rules if, like, some people, like, really, like, exploited it, but it's not going to because, like, a lot of people, like, believe this but don't really do it. But, like, it's game ruining. That's the point. When someone only caps locks, only stalls, only gets mad when they're liberal, but not as fascist, it basically means that anytime that that person feels like it, they can hit the caps lock key and then the game is fully solved. There's no reason to, like, play anymore. The past 30 fucking minutes of gameplay has been a waste. These players are just the fucking worst, bro. They literally kill the game. And if you act like this, you will get blacklisted when you enter high elo lobbies because you are killing the game. So, like, you might think that, oh, I'm just being toxic when I'm liberal and I'm emotional because I get more emotional as liberal. I don't know why you would. But you might think that's a good thing because you're being toxic as one less role. But it's actually an extremely selfish thing. It's even more selfish than this, being toxic as both roles. Because when you're toxic as only one rule, not only are you being toxic, but you're also killing the game, right? Because basically you pretty much, like, waste the entire 30 minutes that, like, fascists and liberals have been spending trying to solve or make themselves look lib or make the game look confusing. You pretty much throw all that away by saying, alright, I'm going to hit one key, the caps lock key, and now I'm confirmed lib, and the entire, like, past 30 minutes of gameplay don't matter. This is, like, the biggest, most selfish asshole on the site. Don't be this. It's very common. It's been getting less common. And people are finally starting to get blacklisted for this kind of behavior. It's deserved. Don't act this way. It's so, so bad. You'll also get nowhere doing it. If you only because, like, if you out liberal all the time, like, you're going to get red fascist when you're fascist. You're not going to be able to win as much. And you get more elo for fascist wins, I'm pretty sure. And also, like, you're not going to win every game that you out lib in. So, come on. Lib outing is just a losing strategy. You'll never reach your true potential with it. It's also bad for the site. Just stop. Anyways, that's all for this video. That is all. I hope you guys learned something from this. This is really, like, the key takeaway. This is your goal, to sound the same as both liberal and fascist. And, this is the main way to do it, by looking at what gets you red liberal and then trying to implement that kind of, be it chat style or gameplay style, maybe stalling or caps lock or whatever it is that gets you red liberal, and then doing it as fascist. This is the way to achieve your goal, and this is what your goal is. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care. I'll be making more content soon. I'm really hoping that, you know, maybe some of you guys who like my videos might vote me for tournament captain or some shit like that. I've been pretty active on the site, you know. Just saying. Take care anyways.